What is up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed ready to deliver you our Week 8 Team Builder. I was almost saying Week 7, but we just did Week 7. Our Week 8 Team Builder here in the BTA Season 8. We are taking on Jaden and the Philadelphia Falinks today, or this week, I guess. Whenever this match actually ends up taking place, we're actually technically a day late, but we got an extension because, you know, I scheduled late, and then he had a lot of homework, so shit happens. So we're working on it as it is, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, this is our Week 8 matchup, and yeah, I'm really terrified of Jaden's team. He has performed incredibly well this season, and because he has probably one of the standardly more threatening strategies to deal with in draft. If you don't have the right tools to deal with it, it's going to mess you up, and that is Rain. And his Rain team is extremely solid. So he has the Mega Swampert, the Scizor, Pelipper, Heliolisk, Mienshao, Alolan Persian, Vileplume, Kingdra, Aromatisse, Azelf, and Porygon 2. So, oh god. So, fuck. Okay, so first thing to note, obviously, the Rain setter with Pelipper and the two Swiss Swim Sweepers in Mega Swampert and Kingdra. As y'all know, over in the MPBF, we have Mono Water, with Rain obviously being the key strategy there, and we have Kingdra and Mega Swampert both on the team, so I know all about what these two can do. It's a lot, and it's painful. But then also, on top of that, the Rain assists with things like Scizor and Vileplume, because it weakens the fire type moves coming their way, which is really, really important. He has P2 for incredible bulk, Aromatisse for cleric support, Azelf can set hazards, can be a nice hazard lead kind of situation, but is also an incredibly strong offensive threat. Alolan Persian can just parting shot around and get in the Rain core pretty effectively and in very positive situations. Mienshao has Regenerator and stuff as well. As getting close combat now, so I can't just like Tech Protect on something and hope I can catch it off guard with a HJK miss. Yeah, and obviously the Heliolisk gets Dry Skin, so it gets healing while in the Rain and can run Thunder. So yeah, this is not a fun matchup at all. It's pretty ass, not gonna lie. But we're gonna do the best that we can, and hopefully we can pull out a W. Really, really, fingers crossed, praying to the fucking heavens right now that we can pull this off. But yeah. So first thing we're gonna be bringing is gonna be Buzz the Volcanion, rocking the Power Herb, Flamethrower, Steam Eruption, Solar Beam, and Toxic. Max HP, max defense, bold nature, 4 in SPDF. So fully physically defensive Volcanion is not O-code by Adamant Mega Swampert, and then we can bob that thing with a Solar Beam. I think that's pretty much the whole gist of that. Steam Eruption, especially in Rain, nothing really wants to come in on that. Like Heliolisk can, but at the same time, it's even in Rain with its Dry Skin, it doesn't really want to take a Flamethrower. And then everything else doesn't really want to get burned. So that's pretty important. And we have the Toxic. Toxic is kind of important for catching things like P2, catching things like Alolan Persian, stuff like that. Getting any of those Mons Toxic will be great. Hopefully, if the Aromatisse does not show up, that is like the best case scenario, so that we can potentially Toxic and really wear things down. I think Vileplume also gets Aromatherapy, so hopefully that thing's not there either, so we can really wear the team down. But this thing is just meant to be here to... this thing also acts as like a stop to Scizor from like doing anything. This prevents Scizor from literally existing, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, Scizor doesn't touch this at all. Like, not even remotely touches it. So that's pretty sick. But yeah, that's our Volcanion. Pretty straightforward. Next we have Shroomzy, the Amoonguss. Rocking the Koba Berry with the Regenerator ability. Spore, Giga Drain, Toxic, and Sludge Bomb. 248 HP, 248 in defense with Bold Nature, and 12 in Spadef. Another physically defensive threat. So it determined that with this spread, we can't be 2-KO'd by Adamant Mega Swampert. We also cannot be 2-KO'd by Kingdra, special or physical. Draco does not 2-KO us. If he's Life Orb, if he Specs Theme, he doesn't 2-KO us. He doesn't OHKO us. And then we will be able to tell immediately that he Specs, and we'll be able to go out into our appropriate checks for that. And any physical sets on either one don't touch us. This thing also chews hits from things like Heliolisk. This thing chews hits from Scizor pretty effectively. Spore is fairly free if Vileplume doesn't show up. Being able to get a Spore off on anything will be extremely important. Other than that, I really am hoping to get some Toxics on things. I was going to bring Foul Play, but since I realized this Scizor can't really do too much to this thing, I figured I could just Spore it if it tries to set up on me, and then go from there. But yeah, the Koba Berry is for Hurricane on a Kingdra, to make sure that we aren't just nuked by that entirely, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Just dual stab hits a lot of their team really hard. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Next up we have Free Wi-Fi, the Licky Licky, rocking the Chopple Berry with the Oblivious ability. Wish, Knockoff, Body Slam, and Counter. Fully physically defensive again, because it works. This thing's just so tanky that, like, again, it just kind of survives everything from Kingdra and Mega Swampert. No real issues. Excuse me. It also tanks hits from pretty much all of its offense, being able to set up wishes and really mess up their team a lot. The Scizor is a bit of a pain, but we can deal with that effect pretty easily. We have the counter because, like, with our investment and whatnot, Superpower or something like that from Mega Swampert, Close Combat from Yanshao, stuff like that. All of that, I believe it does under half to us, and we have high enough HP that with the counter we will do more than enough to KO them right back. So that's pretty awesome, and potentially against some of the weaker mons we can get counters off and really wear them down as well. Body Slam is exclusively because I want to be able to get Paras. They don't have a Ghost type on their team. Yeah, they don't have a Ghost type on their team. So Body Slam's pretty free. And then Knockoff, obviously, is just super important. Get rid of items on their team. Really, really can save us in a lot of potential situations. So that could be really, really cool. And hopefully it works out. But yeah, this Licky Licky is just here to be a tank. We have Dual Wish support this week. With our next mon, Madoka the Sylveon. rocking the leftovers with the Pixelate ability, Wish, Hyper Voice, Toxic, and Protect. Yes, we are not running anything to hit the Scizor. Again, Buzz just kind of ignores Scizor existing. So I'm not worried about it at all. So, honestly, like, set up a Wish, we can pass it directly into Buzz, and Scizor just can't do anything. So I'm not worried about it. Hyper Voice hits everything on their team really, really hard, besides the Scizor and the Vileplume, to an extent. But I don't know if Vileplume shows up. That's a 50-50 for me in my head. We'll just have to see. Excuse me. We'll just have to see how that one plays out. But, Toxic is just really important to get to wear down the team. Toxic, Wish, Protect. I really just need to get his team worn down as quickly as possible. So that we can start picking things off late in the game. With this spread, 252 HP and 240 Spadef with Calm Nature, I believe that prevents... It 100% prevents Kingdra to a KO. I don't remember if it does... I think it also protects from, like, a Specsilius to a KO. If I remember correctly. Yeah, this thing isn't to a KO by that at all. And I just threw the last 16 defense. Just for a little bit extra, but this thing's mainly going to be meant to, like, tank Special Kingdra and things like... Come in on things like Aromatisse, Vileplume, not really, but Azelf, kind of, depending on the set, P2, stuff like that, and just kind of, like, pass wishes about, spread Toxic, stuff like that. That's pretty much the entire purpose of Sylveon this week. Yeah. Next up, we have Archangel, the Mega Absol, who, coming off of a very, very big match last week for it, where I'm pretty sure it doubled its kill count. We're hoping to have some similar magic again this week. We are rocking Max Attack, Max Speed, Jolly Nature, 4 in Defense, Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Play Rough, and Substitute. Now, the reason we have Sub is because I see a lot of scenarios where I can definitely see, like, you know, opportunities to get subs up against their team, like forcing something, like forcing certain things out. I could potentially get subs up. We could try to set a sub up in front of Azelf. We could set subs up in front of potentially set subs up in front of P2. Because we'll be forcing out because they don't want us to knock off their Eviolite. Couple options across the board that we can potentially pull off with this. So if we can get behind a sub, this thing becomes infinitely more deadly. So fingers crossed that does not take place. Sucker Punch is going to be extremely important for the late game because like the way the rest of our team is built is meant to whittle down and like really wear down our opponent's team, and having access to that stab Sucker Punch in the back for priority to start really nuking the rest of those weakened mons would be very important. And then lastly, we have the Play Rough. Play Rough is there specifically because the two things that resist Dark-type moves in this matchup, well, two of the three things that resist Dark-type moves in this matchup are weak to Fairy, so that's pretty much the gist of that. The other resist to Dark is Aromatisse, and we have like ways of dealing with Aromatisse. It's not like really a threatening mon, so... But yeah, that is our Mega Absol. And then the last mon we're bringing was a late edition. I originally had Raikou here, but every time I tried to build this, it didn't work. So I'm bringing the Zappy one instead. Oricorio Pom Pom with heavy duty boots, Revelation Dance, Hurricane, Defog, and U-Turn. Max HP 224 special attack and 32 in speed with a timid nature. That 32 in speed with the timid nature allows us to outpace... I believe that's max speed Scizor. Yeah, I believe that's max speed Jolly Scizor, which is cool. The main reason we have this over Raikou is if we didn't bring this over Raikou, Mega Swampert can just click EQ every time it's out on the field, and there's nothing I can do about that. So at least this way, it forces him into those many 50-50s. Like to click a coverage move that can hit Oricorio, or click a move that can hit, the rest of my team or something like that. A lot of different options there. Forces the 50-50s basically, and I'm all down for that. Plus, the fact that he does have access to things like, rocks on his elf, rocks on Mega Swampert, all that kind of shit. I wanted to have some kind of defogger. I wanted to have some kind of removal, especially because of things like Buzz being so important in this game. I felt like it was important to have defog. With it being a rain team, there will also be 100% accurate hurricanes coming off from Oricorio here, so that'll be really, really important. And then Revelation Dance just for a nice stab to hit them with really hard. But yeah, hopefully Oricorio will put in work. We actually, every single time we brought Oricorio to a game, we've won that game. So hopefully the trend can continue. But yeah, that's the team. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you have not already. The game itself will be going up tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.